Hello, welcome back. It's Monster Lore today. Oh, and we've got something a little bit different. This is not a scary monster. It's not a gruesome monster. It is a FEY creature. A FEY humanoid. I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll if you want to. Hello, how are you? I'm Fred Huber. Nice to have you. A flying marine creature that burrows. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Yeah, there's too much going on. Too much going on. Anyway, so grab some food, some drink. Make sure you are comfortable. We're going to get into this fairly quickly. As always, I will be presenting a bit on the monster specialized for today from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, and then we'll go in and we're going to make our own monster. We're going to create the monster lore and a monster stat block, a very rough monster stat block. It won't be the complete thing, but we'll certainly give the first part of it a go. So I hope you are ready. Make sure you are, and we're going to crack into this. I think that's got it. Okay. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about tabletop role-playing games, but monster lore. The monster lore for the Emerald Bellatrix. Now this is a monster for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It is 5e compatible, so there is a stat block for it, but we're going to cover the monster lore for this creature for today. So, thank you Esper the Bard. Let's crack into a FEY creature for today. The FEY woman is both rustic and majestic, a being of the wild with refined posture. A wooden tiara rests on her turquoise hair, and the frost sheen from her twin daggers reflects in her icy eyes. An Emerald Bellatrix is a legendary infiltrating warrior from an order of FEY mystics. The Emerald Enclave is an all-female sect of mystics from the plane of the fairy. The monastery that the Emerald Bellatrix inhabits is within a great forest where blooms of frost sprout from 50-foot tall conifers. There are several ranks within the enclave, but the Bellatrixes are its greatest and most well known. An Emerald Bellatrix is an arcane warrior that possesses incredible agility, magical powers, and a pair of ice-infused daggers. The Bellatrix may be found as an elite guardian of a FEY castle. Another could be a scout and infiltrator of extraordinary prowess. Another still could be a free agent who adventures throughout the wild realms of the FEY. The agility and speed of the Emerald Bellatrix is legendary when it comes to dodging any kind of assault. The magical daggers that the Emerald Bellatrix wields burn with cold energy when they strike. Only the strongest magic can affect an Emerald Bellatrix due to their FEY nature. The Emerald Bellatrix conjures spells that allow them to create stone and shape it, doors to be unlocked, increase their speed, suppress sound, communicate with plants and animals. FEY jumps and teleporting a short distance for an Emerald Bellatrix is a simple task. Calling down magical freezing rain is the Emerald Bellatrix's trump card when major power is needed. Learning the nature of a door, a container, or a portal is one of the strangest abilities of the Emerald Bellatrix that they possess. And frankly, I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. And that is the Emerald Bellatrix and the monster lore behind it for those of you who are interested. Now, I want to thank you for watching and listening. I want to thank Esper the Bard for allowing me to cover this topic and providing the artwork for today. I also want to thank all of my patrons. Thank you for supporting me. Hope you enjoyed this, and till next time, keep rolling those 20s. The Emerald Bellatrix. Okay, now I am supposed to share and show you an entry in the book because that is something that Esper's been asking me to do. So I will do that. We are going to go into monster creation very, very shortly. But since I'm supposed to show you an entry from that book, I better make sure I do that. And I was supposed to have that ready. Not quite ready. Not quite ready, but close to. Now, for those of you who are here in the live stream, I'm going to be following chat. I'll be looking at the poll, so make sure you put in your votes so we can see what people want to actually create today as a monster. That's what the poll is there for. If you don't vote, then, well, we just wind up doing something else, I guess. Or I just pick something. That's always possible. So, so yes, if you want to be a parcel of the decision making in terms of what we create today, then you want to get in there real quick. Okay, so I have the entry, the page entry, and hopefully this is, yeah, I think that's about the best I can do with this. Okay, let's bring you across. This is the entry, the Emerald Bellatrix. Now, for those of you who are wondering, what's the story? Look, there's not a lot of monster lore here. Like, what's the lore on the Emerald Bellatrix? A lot of it has been taken from the stat block, and rather than talking in terms of the stat block, in terms of mechanics, what I tend to do is I try to make it more of a narrative. So I've kind of made it more narrative. But most of the information that you need to know about the Emerald Bellatrix is here. And of course, any additional lore is up to you. You have an armor class. The Emerald Bellatrix has an armor class of 18, 127 hit points. You know, that's just the average, so you can go higher. And it's particularly fast, very dexterous. That's why it's got a 20 for its dexterity. High constitution, wisdom, and charisma. Okay, a bunch of saving throws, quite a few. This is the sort of creature that would be classified as a legendary creature, so that's why it has legendary actions. It also has, you know, a lot of skills. Like it's very good at doing a lot of different things: acrobatics, athletics, you know, interpreting the environment. Its perception's high. Its insight into other creatures is high. It's very good with sleight of hand, stealthy things, and nature. So it's got a lot going on. Plus, it, of course, you know, it's FEY, so it's probably got dark vision. Yeah, exactly. Languages: Common, Sylvan, and Elven. It's got an evasion ability, so this is its ability to sort of dodge out of the way. It's got the Frost Claw warrior ability, and it's got some spell casting, which I kind of covered already before. Legendary resistances, as you would expect from a legendary creature, and you got some magic resistance as well. Okay, multiple attacks with the dagger, and you can a whispering portal, which is a little odd, but I'm sure you can find a way to use it. And you got your Fey jump, which is basically teleporting, and Tears of the Frost Star, which is really raining down cold icicles onto the enemy. So that is the basics with the Emerald Bellatrix. Okay, now that we've covered that, we need to determine what sort of monster or creature we're making today. Now, I have a whole lot of tables. We do this every week, where I use these tables to create a creature or monster that hopefully is interesting in some way. And let's have a look and see where we're at. It looks like we're going with Sky today. We've got 1 vote for Sky, so Sky it is. Out of 5 people here, I would have thought there'd be more votes, but maybe not everybody is subscribed. You only need to be subscribed for 5 minutes to be able to take part in the polls or to comment in the chat, for those of you who are wondering. So Sky it is. Let's move over and do Sky. You will need dice today, people. So if you're going to be taking part in this, and I encourage you all to take part, you'll need dice. You need to be rolling some dice. Okay, so let me grab my phone and set that up in front of me so I can see the chat as we go. You'll need percentile dice. You'll need 20-sided dice, 6-sided dice, 4-sided dice. Is there any other dice that you might need? I think that's pretty much all of them, if I remember right. Combinations of those will probably wind up happening as well. So if you're wondering, yes, you absolutely probably will have to use combinations of them. You're going to be doing a lot of dice rolling, essentially. Okay, let us see this is the blank monster lore sheet that I'm working on Google. And you can see there's a breakdown of sort of all the different areas we're going to cover today. Quite a few. The first thing we need to do is we need to determine its environment. And its environment is sky, because that was what was voted for. So we'll put sky for now. And we are going to determine its appearance. And then I'm going to use AI art to create a concept drawing for it and move from there. So working our way down, sky and flying animals. So we do have to roll 4 times for doing a monster that is a flying creature. 1, because we need to roll for the head, the body, the legs, and the wings. So we'll add in wings. Wings, and we will see what we get. Not that. There we go. Fred Huber, thank you for being here. Fred Huber is a patron. Okay, so moving across, this is our setup. Now this concept of and how we do this is I set this up after talking with AJ Pickett. And I send all of these monsters to AJ Pickett, and if he likes one, he will turn it into a video. And if he doesn't like it, he will ignore it. that's the deal. So we're going to be rolling percentile dice for this. It only goes up to 48, so there might be a few numbers that don't work, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. So hashtag roll percentile dice for monster head, body, limbs, and wings. Someone else voted land today. Have I just missed that? Have that only just gone in? Well, I've already started that process, so we're on flying. Do you know what I mean? I don't know who else voted, but maybe we may be a bit too late. We're split again. Yeah, we're just going to go sky. We'll just go sky. It's going to make it easier for me. Okay, I've already started that process, so yeah, rather than fiddle about, let's just keep going with sky. So roll some percentile dice. You can also just pick whichever thing you would like it to be, and I will use it. You know, just pick a number between, you know, this is incomplete, by the way. These tables are still in development. I don't believe that we'll ever find 100 fairly different types of flying animals or creatures. So this is one of the reasons why it only goes up to about 48. I haven't been able to figure out how to get another 49 and 50 in there. Now, if you don't roll, I will roll. So I would much prefer that other people do the rolling rather than I do the rolling. Otherwise, I'm just doing all of the work. And I would like you to think that you could actually be part of this process. So that's the deal. Okay, we've got all sorts of different things that are going on here that can be included. And each number will be plopped into the various slots that we need to cover. So one animal. This is very AD&D. For those of you who are unaware, a lot of design goes around, you know, combining elements of different creatures or animals to create something new. It's been done. It's still done this way. Okay. All right. Here we go. We got some numbers. That's right. That's right. I will use Fred Huber's unless somebody else rolls. So you've rolled 79 for the head. Let's go with 79. 79 is half of 79 is what? 35, 38, 38. So it'll be 38. Praying mantis head. Fine. Praying mantis head. I'm all right with that. We'll put a praying mantis head in there. Paste. No. Okay. 22. 22. 22 is 22. So 22. Flying squirrel. Body of a flying squirrel. Okay. Okay. Paste. Limbs. What sort of limbs are we dealing with here? 98. 98 is, okay, so it's the top end. It's the... It's this. It's basically a dinosaur bird. A bird-like dinosaur. So you want to give it a tail as well. Well, it might probably wind up with a tail. Let's go here. Paste this in. You. Bird-like dinosaur. Okay. Can we just go bird-like? Bird-like dinosaur. Okay, that's better. Dinosaur, probably spell it correctly, would help. Okay, next, so the last thing, the wings. What sort of wings are we dealing with? You rolled a 44. 44 is 44. We'll just go with the stalked eye fly. Stalked eye fly, so it's fly wings. Which is basically insect wings. Chicken feet. Okay. All right, so we have our various bits and pieces for our creator to work with. So now we need to start to plug it in, and hopefully it will draw something for us that is close to what we're after. So we'll go with art. So we'll go head. Draw a monster with a prey mantis head, body of I believe it was a squirrel, wasn't it? Did we select squirrel? A squirrel, a flying squirrel? It's a squirrel, basically. So a squirrel, so we'll put that in. Legs of a, what the heck were the legs of? No, wrong one. Try again. Oh, it's bird legs, basically. It's just bird legs with legs of a bird, of a what do we go? Dinosaur, bird, and wings, and insect wings. Right, so I think that's a lot of information. We'll see how that that comes out ultimately in the end. I'm not too sure. I've always found that the AI art generators are not great. Okay, so let's increase the number of run times for this. We'll go with real visual. Okay, let's run this and see what we get. I think that's everything. Okay, go. First one. That's hopefully generating something. That's real viz. Anime's waste of time. Doesn't really work very well. Pixel I've just tried and didn't work. Style Vision XL, it really has done nothing as far as I can tell so far. That was good. Not even semi-realistic, forget about that. Hydra may, I don't know. I feel like Hydra's overrated. So let's go with Hydra, and I guess we're just wasting credits. Photographic, have I tried photographic? Let's try photographic. Photographic. We'll do extreme realism. Sometimes that's worked out all right. Extreme realism. Not always. Sometimes. Not always. Now, what else we've got here? High fantasy is just going to put breasts on it. I keep forgetting about that. It's the breast drawer. So, moving on. Lyra. We'll put Lyra in there. It's drawing some stuff. There we go. That looks like a bit of a cartoon image, though. Next, let's try cinematic. I haven't tried cinematic. Comic book art. I don't think that comic book art is going to work. Fantasy, just a straight fantasy. Let's do fantasy. And what else is there? Ink. Argo's a waste of time. I've tried using Argo. It's terrible. Argo 2 is also awful. 3D arts sometimes done all right. Let's do it. And then just 3D, which I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sold on the idea. Okay, so it's starting to produce some images, and I think what we'll do is we'll come back to that, and we'll look at what we wind up getting overall. Hopefully, we get something that's sort of close to what we asked for. You never know with these things. I always find it's a bit hit and miss. But anyway, so we've got a basic idea of what our creature is. Head of a praying mantis, body of a squirrel or a flying squirrel, legs of a dinosaur-like bird or a bird-like dinosaur, and the wings of a stalked-eyed fly, which is basically an insect wings. Okay, so we're going to do special abilities, traits, so forth. Let's do special abilities first. So let's grab this and go roll percentile dice for monster special abilities. Monster special abilities are things they would use their action for, and I have 100 of these little suckers, so we'll just get rid of this one. Here it is. Monster special abilities, a whole bunch of them, all sorts of really weird, sometimes dangerous, sometimes just strange, exotic. There's everything you can imagine is pretty much here as a thing that you could use as a monster. It took us a while to come up with this table. There are 100 of them, plus a couple of extras, which I generally left off the 100 list because Death's Touch and Life Force Drain is pretty horrible. Okay, we got 77. I will take multiple special abilities if there are multiple rolls from people. So you want 2. Spatial Shift is 77. Okay. It's always good to have more than one special ability, because if we don't want to have one special ability, we can select the second one. That's why we have more than one roll taking place. It's not because we load them up with special abilities. That's not really the intention. Miracle Maker. The creature's gaze can cure any disease and remove curses. That is very strange. I kind of like that, actually. Spatial Shift. We've had a lot of Spatial Shift and teleporting creatures recently. I think I like the Miracle Maker more, just because, one, it looks quite unusual and strange, but I like the Miracle Maker idea a lot more than the others. So we'll keep that there as a highlighted. I'm yellowing the one that I would like to ditch. I think Miracle Maker would be actually quite fun. Not all monsters need to do terrible damage to you or do horrible things to you. Sometimes they might do good things to you if you're good to them. Okay, so nobody else is rolling. That's fine. I will grab the next roll. Roll a percentile dice for monster traits. Monster traits. Okay, let's have a look and see what we get. So once you started rolling some dice, I will show you what we have for monster traits. Monster traits are over here. There are 100 of these things. Monster traits are things that are always active, like they can always do it. So for example, with our monster under monster traits, something that I would add almost immediately is the fact that it can fly. It can fly. Yep. Because it's got wings. If it's got wings, it should be able to fly. Otherwise, it'd be kind of pointless. A creature the PCs should take to instead of, talk to it rather than murder hobo it. Exactly. It's nice to have a monster that isn't all about, let's kill it and take its stuff. 45. Okay. So monster traits, 45. I went past it. So as I said before, this one is complete. We have pretty much all of the 100 there. And we got hibernate. The creature can hibernate for long periods of time, conserving energy. I like this one too. I feel like that will actually mesh in quite nicely with our creature. So let's put that down. Nobody else is voting. Okay, that's fine. Nobody's out rolling some, I mean, not voting, rolling dice. You want to put in a 74 as well? And 74. Yeah, cool. I appreciate that. 74. Here we go. Pungent. The creature always stinks, causing vomiting and nausea. Obnoxious odor. I'm not hugely sold on this. I actually feel like it would be. I feel like this creature is going the way of being a nice creature rather than a nightmare fuel. So I'm going to put pungent as a highlight. I'm not sure I want to keep it. I want to probably keep this one a little bit more simple. And we've had some very complicated creatures where I've had to try and jam things together to make it work. Anyway, let's do this. And next on our list is going to be monster motivations. If the phone works, hashtag roll percentile dice for monster motivation. Going up or down? Down one. That's cool. Anyway, so we're going to put in our monster motivation. This is what our monster sort of revolves around. So we're going to close this one up. We've done traits, and we're now on monster motivations. Monster motivations, there are 100 of these little suckers. Took us a long time again to put them all together. We're going to try to pick the one that fits with the other two things that we've got that we're sort of aiming for today. So depending on what you roll, and I suppose it's going to be Fred Huber who'll be doing the rolling or giving me a number. But people, by all means, you are welcome. If you could just pick a number. You don't have to necessarily roll dice if you don't have dice. 0, 0, and 1. Really? So you rolled number 1. Let's see what number 1 is. Acquiring knowledge. The monster wants more information on specific topics. You actually got number 1. I actually am. I'm not against that idea. I think that's. We could have 2. We'll see what the other one is and see if it fits better. But acquiring knowledge. Let's see what the other one would come out as. And you've rolled the 27. So let's have a look and see what 27 says. 27 is favor. The monster wants help or a promise of action from another creature. I feel like both of those could apply very easily. We could incorporate both of those. It would probably help flesh out our creature or monster for today. So let's do both. Yep. Okay, so we're going to do monster origins. Monster origins is 20. There are 20 monster origins that we created. So let me just pump this in first. Hashtag roll a D20 for monster origins. Bum bum bum. Okay, we're doing pretty well. We've got through. I mean, we've got quite a lot still to go, but we've actually got through quite a good chunk of things so far. So yeah, we will go back and have a look at the AI art and see what it's drawn for us today, but we'll do that shortly. I like these except the stink. Maybe it wants to be, yeah. I think I'm going to ditch the stink. I think the stink, the pungent thing, I'm just going to ditch it. I don't think it needs to be there. I think we don't have to keep everything. Do you know what I mean? We roll multiples because it's fun. It can fly and it hibernates. I'm happy with that. That's good. And acquiring knowledge and favor, I'm all for those. The spatial shift thing, the teleporting, I honestly think it's kind of a waste of time for a creature which can fly. Like, why does it need to teleport if it can fly? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, so I'm probably going to ditch that now. We won't keep it. We'll just say, nah. That sort of keeps things nice and tidy. All right, there's a few more in you here, so come on. Pick a number between 1 and 20 or roll a 20-sided dice. You know, that 20-sided dice, it has 20 sides on it. You're used to rolling it for making attacks. Now, you need to roll it to select a monster origin. That's right, a monster origin. We have monster origins here. There's a bunch of them. Some of them are very similar, but coming up with a different way for a monster to be created can be quite difficult sometimes. So the table is not huge. Okay. There. So roll a 20-sided dice. Otherwise, I've got to do that. There we go. Fred Huber. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. Resurrection. The creature is resurrected from death as a monster. Or not necessarily a monster. Maybe we're just going to call it a creature. Resurrected from death. Do you want to roll again and see what else we get? Maybe that's not the origin we need. Maybe there's something that would be better. Oh, now we got somebody rolling. Yay! Hello, how are you? We finally managed to get somebody to jump in. Jaquel the Scholar, 17. Let's see what Jaquel the Scholar got for 17. Because I'm not a huge fan of having a sort of a resurrected undead creature, although that doesn't necessarily have to be that. Transformation. A spell, liquid, or substance changes the being into the monster, or in this case, creature. We could do that. That might work. Let's put that over here. And we can discuss that a bit more. Fred Huber's also rolled a 15. I think I like the transformation one more than the other one. Toxic waste. The creature falls into unwanted, poisonous, dangerous chemicals. I feel like toxic waste is very similar to transformation, where we have a spell, liquid, or substance that changes it. So, yeah. I'm going to highlight resurrection. I'm not really fond of the idea of using the resurrection one. I like the transformation, liquid, spell, substance. Jaquel, if I got your name wrong, please let me know. But what sort of way is the creature transformed? What sort of spell? Is it a spell? Is it a liquid? Is it a substance like a rock or a special type of ore or a stone or something like that? If you want to come up with something, I will drop it in there. And if somebody else has a good idea, I will drop that in. That's how this works. Okay, so we're doing very well. We've got our monster origin possibilities there. Next we're going to do a monster lair. This is where it lairs. Let me just punch this in here. Hashtag. So we're going to roll a d20 or roll a d20 plus a d6 for monster lair. Bum, bum, bum. This is where its home is, where it hangs out. Okay, so you can pick a number between 1 and 26, or you could roll some dice, roll a 20-sided dice or a 20-sided dice plus a 6-sided dice, add it together, and let's see what we get. Because we only have 20 of these. There's only 20. So we've got a 17 from Fred Huber. We've got the moon. We've done the moon recently. I'm not sure that I feel like this is a moon creature. So another roll might be useful. Do I really want to stick another creature on the moon? I mean, I suppose we could, but is the moon really its lair? Or is it something else? So maybe another roll, Fred Huber or Jaquel or anybody else out there who's watching. You're welcome to throw a number in, okay? Throw a number in. You got percentage /4. Oh, did you roll? Oh, you rolled a 4. I think that's just, okay, you rolled a 4. I see what you're saying. Let's see what a 4 would be. 4 is a burrow. A hole or a tunnel dug by the animal or monster as a dwelling. Okay. That could be a way of going about it. And you've got 8. 8. Do any of these sort of stand out to us that we like? Maybe it's transformed by one. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we've got some feedback coming through. Maybe it's transformed by ore brought to its natural habitat. Clever. Okay. I think 7. There we go. We've got a number. So we're going to take your 8. We'll take the 7, and we're going to copy and paste your idea in a second. So 8. 8 is clouds. We did clouds. Didn't we do clouds last week or the week before? I can't remember. We wound up with clouds last week. So I'm not sold on the clouds thing. I prefer the burrow more than the clouds or the moon. And then we have 7 that you've rolled up. Oh, I see. Okay, all right, I see. So I get it. So let's see what 7 is. Let's see what the scholar's got. 7 on that is the cave. A cave naturally forming underground chamber or complex. And that would fit with what you're talking about. It could be related to a particular type of ore. Do we want to pick a type of ore? I would say moon. Let's get rid of the moon. I think we've had enough of the moon for today. I think we get rid of the clouds. Let's get rid of the clouds. But I like the idea of a burrow or a cave. I think the cave one is the one that stands out the most for me. And I will highlight burrow because burrow and cave is so similar, it probably isn't necessary. Yep. And then your suggestion in terms of the origin, we will take that. And I will just do you're going to have to put up with my face. And I'll do a copy and paste so I don't mess up the live stream too much and have you have a spaz. I don't want you to wind up getting epilepsy or anything like that. And we'll take that idea of you've got there, and we'll drop it in under our origins. Maybe it transforms. Transformed by an ore. Transformed by an ore to its natural habitat. And that is what we've got. What is the ore? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it uranium? Could be uranium. Could be iridium. It could be a lot of different things. What is the ore? So now that we've got that, let's just zip on back. There we go. We're back on track. Okay, let's keep going. We've got potentially our lair. And we do reproduction. Now, reproduction, there are 24 for reproduction. Moonstone rocks, ore. Well, look, moonstone, we can put moonstone anywhere. I mean, maybe moonstone is literally something that the moon has been shining on. Could be moonstone. Maybe. Reproduction. Let me get the reproduction line in. Magic infused moonstone. There you go. Now we're talking. Hashtag. So we're rolling. So hashtag roll a d20 or roll a d20 plus a d4. Correct? For monster reproduction. How does it, silver. Okay, let's go with magic infused silver. How's that sound? The more formed by ore, brought to its natural environment. What about transformed by ore in its by ore in its natural habitat, magically infused silver. Is there something? Is it different to something else? I don't know, but I actually like that idea. Let's do silver. Why not? All right, we've got some dice rolls coming through. Our reproduction processes, there are only 24 of them. Some of them are really horrible, okay? So we've got, Fred has rolled up a 6. Is it? How about let's do look here. Transformed by ore in its natural habitat, magically infused silver from the light of the moon. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. There we go. That get complicated, didn't it? All right, let's deal with our monster reproduction, which is 6. And I might need to take a short break because I'm going to need to use a toilet. But we'll see. DNA bite. So it bites something. I don't like that very much. I feel like this monster needs to be less about let's do something horrible to you and so, it's a bit tamer. I feel like this is a much tamer creature than we've had in the past on this channel. So that gives the scholar, Jaquel the scholar, time to pick a number or roll up some dice and give us a number. I am going to take a short break so that I can relieve myself. Don't go anywhere because we've still got quite a few things to go. We've still got to do the monster diet, the monster's senses, the monster's communication, monster society, and the monster's weaknesses. And we've also got to look at the picture of the thing. Hopefully it's drawn it by now. And we've also got to do a stat block. So there's a bit to be done. Still a little bit to be finished. But still plenty of time. Anyway, 5 minutes or less. Arnold will look after you. I won't be long. That's better. Do. Oh, good. Here we go. I am back, feeling a little bit better now that I've done my business. And let's see what you guys have come up with in terms of some numbers for me to put into here. So we've got our monster reproduction. We've got a 5. And we have, oh, that's a 6 and a 5. Jaquel, right, so let's see what 5 is. 5, dance. The monster reproduce offspring through a complex dance ritual involving multiple individuals. I like this one. We got a really odd one. How's that? How's that? For those of you who are wondering what five might be, they're right next to each other. There's the DNA one, and then there's the dance one, reproduction through dance. That is a very funny and odd way to reproduce, but it's not like a mating dance. It's literally offspring are produced by dancing. Oh dear. Okay, let's have a look. What have we what have we got here? We are here for entertainment, to test tables. We're testing tables. It's an exercise in creativity. Yes, exactly. It very much is. We get some really strange combinations. I don't know which way to go. Honestly, I think I like the dance one the most. I'm going to highlight the DNA bite thing. Is not really my major favorite one. But I almost feel like we could have a hickey dance, They have a dance and then they bite each other and poof, offspring. That would be entertaining. Anyway. Ah, dear. That's hilarious. Okay, let's do monster food since reproduction came out. Very, very strange. There are 40 for monster food and diet. So there's a few. So we hashtag. So you're going to roll 2 D20s for monster diet. Okay, monster diet and food. So we've got all sorts of different things that it could feed on. And I'm hoping that we'll roll up something that's interesting and fitting for our creature or monster. I don't want to make everything or turn everything into a blood-sucking vampire if I can help it, or turn everything into a carnivorous meat eater. Although I suppose it could happen, but it would be nice if we didn't do that for once, because quite often it does happen that way. Anyway, while you're rolling dice, let's go and have a look at our creations and see if we've got some drawings from this for this monster that might fit what we were trying to do. Remember, our monster was supposed to have the head of a praying mantis, the body of a squirrel, the legs of a dinosaur bird, and the wings of an insect. So we've got something here that kind of feels like it's not quite there. They've given it ears. I don't know why it's got ears. It's cute. It just kind of looks like a little dinosaur. This looks like a little dinosaur too. This just looks like a cute dinosaur. Well done. I mean, cute dinosaur I suppose is something, but yeah. Not sold on that idea. Let's have a look and see what else we've got. 1 by a D20. D2. It seems if second... Yeah, no, that's right. So, yeah. So you could roll 1 20-sided dice or just pick a number between 1 and 40. Because remember, the diet goes from 1 to 40. So you could just pick a number if you really want. Okay, let me just keep going. 10 and a 7. Okay, we'll deal with them in a second. Let's just have a look through our catalogue of monsters. Well, that looks very sort of squirrel-like in the head as well as the body and in the bushy tail thing. Not quite what we're after. That's... I don't know what's going on there. There's little butterflies going on. It's kind of got part of it, but not exactly. Okay, next. Does anybody see anything that sort of stands out? It's got the tail... It's got the tail with the body. It's got the insect wings. And it's got a head that looks more like a squirrel head than it does look like a praying mantis head. That's kind of doing the same sort of thing. There's just the tail is formed into a donut. Dear. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. This is hyper realistic, so I don't know. Yes, it's got stuck a squirrel head on this thing. Come on, it's not a squirrel head. Stop trying to make a flying squirrel. That's what it's trying to draw. It's a flying squirrel. Look, still more flying squirrels. Okay. That looks like a lizard head rather than I don't know what's going on there. That's odd. It's very strange. Anyway, let's close that one and have a look at the next one. Again, it's not quite understood the instructions. No, not really. This feels like it's close. Do you know, even though it looks ridiculous, it's got the insect wings. It's got the head that kind of feels like it's partly praying mantis-y. It's got the body, which is, I don't know what the heck you would say that. Is that a lizard? Is that a praying mantis? Or is that a squirrel body? I don't know. And then legs, the legs I feel like are more praying mantis-y. But I even though it's goofy, I like this picture more out of all of them. Next. Wings, praying mantis head, cartoony praying mantis head, body, squirrel tail, legs, who knows what they are from. Anyway. Pardon me. Next one. I don't know what to make of that. It's partially formed. It's partially formed. Partially formed. No. I think that's a complete write-off, that one. We can ditch that completely. Yeah. Now this one here looks like a toy. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of that. No, not really. I still feel, out of all of them, is it this one here? No, it's not. It's here. I think it's the cartoony one. I think this is the picture that strikes me as standing out. It's basically a Pokemon character. You're right. Hello, John. How's it going? I'm Agile Monk. Agile Monk is a patron and also a moderator. Thank you for being here. Okay. It had to happen one day. We had to wind up creating a goofy looking character image. But honestly, I think that's the one that's closest, even though the image itself is terrible. Let's go back to our monster and deal with the diet. I think we were dealing with diet, weren't we? And we have... I like the first... You like the first picture? Dear. Here we go. So we're going to go with a 1 on... No, it's not reproduction. We're dealing with diet. So 1 is all-consuming. The monster eats everything in the world. Feels very insect. You know, like insects tend to eat pretty much anything under the sun. It's like a scavenger. You think the first line art was good? Well, let me have a look at the first line art. I'll go back to that. Let me go back to the first line art. And this one here. Oh, you mean this one here? This picture here. This one. Is it the one that's not coloured? The black and white one. Is that what you're saying? I like the first picture. It's got wings. Its head is not really a squirrel head, but I wouldn't say that it's a praying mantis head. It's got little ears on it. It's got some limbs that, I mean, what sort of limbs those are, I don't know. And I don't think that's a tail back there. I think that's a bit of a mess. Maybe it's doing its business. I don't know. Something like that. So this is the one you reckon that we should go with. Yeah, is that right? Yes, this is the one that you think this is. This is the correct image. Okay, let's upscale you. I can do that for 1 credit. Upscale. Okay, upscale. Doesn't quite look like what you would you'd expect, but I can upscale it. And then we'll deal with diet. Diet's coming next. Jaquel has got a 17. The scholar, so 10 plus 7 is 17, and we're going to see what that is in a second. And I think that's upscaled. Dodos. Did I get everything that I needed there? I don't know. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. No, I haven't downloaded it. It's been upscaled, but it hasn't downloaded. Why? Why not? Oh, do I have to wait 6 days? Oh, no, here's the download image. Oh, they keep changing everything. Okay, it's downloading now. Okay. All right, so let's move back to where we were, which is food. And we got a 17. Got a 17 at emotions. The creature collects the energy from feelings and emotions. We kind of had this with another monster the other day, which I didn't really feel like it fit. Feeding on emotions, and it reproduces by dancing. Or all-consuming. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Let's have it feed on emotions. All-consuming is pretty obvious, or you could have it do that, but this would be much more entertaining. Anyway, senses. Let's deal with senses next, which is again a 1 to 40. Okay, when we roll on the 1 to 40, it's you can pick a number between 1 and 40, or roll 2 20-sided dice essentially. Okay, roll 2 d20 for monster senses. Now, we're not talking about every single sense, we're just talking about the special senses that might have. Oh man, I'm feeling it again. This lady doesn't want to stay, accept no. Is it because I didn't respond to that email? It is common for people to contact me by email and think that I might be interested. Quite often I'm not. Not if it's to sell their stuff. And I'm not really that keen on selling somebody else's stuff. So 23 on monster senses. What would that be? Let's have a look. We've still got plenty of time. We're not out of time yet, so that's good. Poison detection. The creature can determine if a substance, plant, or creature is poisoned or toxic. Okay. Why would it need to have that kind of sense? If it doesn't actually eat food, unless it eats food, it probably would make no sense. But maybe it doesn't need to make sense. Paste. Sky. And we just need, give us another roll, people. Give us another roll so we can see what else we can put in there. Something to help mix it up a little bit. Pick a number, roll some dice. Either way, don't mind. You decide. I'm all good with it. So we're going to go on to monster senses. We'll keep going in a second. And I'm going to see, you like this picture and I like the other picture. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to take the one that I liked. So I think this is the one for me. It's a concept drawing, people. Concept. It's not the all-consuming. It can use poison detection. Yeah, all-consuming, I suppose, would make sense then. It would fit nicely. Whereas the emotions one, yeah. If it eats pretty much anything, dead or alive, plant. We've got a 10 as well. Okay, good. And that should be done. So I should be able to download that now. Great. Okay, cool. It's downloading. I will go back to the picture that you like. Don't worry. And let's have a look and see what we got in terms of senses. You rolled a 10. That's under senses. Why have we got food? I've still got food up. Close food. Onto senses. 10. Fear detection. Here we go. Jaquel the Scholar, 21. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice. Copy. Fear detection. The monster perceives the hormones released by nearby creatures when they are fearful or frightened. Don't know that makes much sense, but We could put emotion detection. The monster or creature perceives emotions released by nearby creatures. That would be much more interesting. Let's see what Jaquel has got. You got a 21. Night vision. Pretty simple. Night vision, like if a monster doesn't have night vision, then what are you doing, right? So I think that's a given. But I think what we'll do here, let's keep the all-consuming thing so it can feed on pretty much anything. We're going to keep going and see where this leads us, because I feel like there's two routes we can take right now. Yummy fish. I just skipped the poisoned part. Okay, all right. Let's move on and see what else we get. I think fear is, if it's going to be any detection, it would be detection of emotions. That would make sense. When they have emotional response, when they have an emotional response. That would what it would have to be if we were to use that and go that way, I think. But let's go and do communication, because we're getting closer to the end, and we've done our senses. Communication methods is also 40, 1 to 40. Hashtag. Roll 2 d20 for the monster. Communication. And let's see what we get with that one. That'll be interesting. Right, I'm going to just grab, because I'm going to have to do a stat block for this at some point. So I better get ready, get my table out, ready to go. And we'll see what we get. So we have all sorts of different things in terms of communication style. There's art, assimilating communication, binary, bioluminescence, blood drinking, bubbles, clicks, coloured feces, dancing. Dancing would probably fit quite nicely. It would make sense that if you reproduce by dancing, maybe communication by dancing is the way to go. That's number 10 if somebody wants to put a number 10. Distant destruction, drawing, dream whisperer, electronic communication, emotional. Maybe it's emotional states, which are pretty complicated. But anyway, excretions, farting, florograph, which is, I'm not even going to explain it. Heraldry, hive mind, knotting, leaf curling, some sort of plant network, nucleosynthesis, which is basically nuclear radiation, electromagnetic. Yeah, that would be a very strange way to communicate for sure. Well, no, let's not do the challenge rating just yet, but I'm fine with doing challenge rating at 5, but we'll deal with that in a second. So communication, we've got a 20 so far. Hive mind. Hive mind is fine. We've had hive mind before. So we'll put down hive mind for now and see if we get something else from somebody. We've got smell, parasitic communication, we've got poetry, we've got possession, quantum entanglement, which is pretty complicated if you ask me. Sign language might work, gestures. Singing, we've done singing before, that's funny as that anything. Sky scribe, so writing messages in the sky, that might be a thing. Spores, releasing spores, maybe it doesn't work with this creature. Symbiosis, tactile, talking, telepathy. We've done a lot of telepathy. Thermal communication, releasing temperature, different temperatures. Twin speech, speaking 2 or more sentences simultaneously, which is really strange. Or just writing everything down. Communicate with poetry. You want me to add poetry to it? We've done poetry before. We can't keep doing the same things. Otherwise, all the monsters communicate the same way. I really like the idea of the reproduction by dance means communication by dance. Myself. 27. All right, Jaquel, what have we got for 27? Oh, you've picked or rolled the poetry one. Okay. So it is. It's a dancing poetic. Okay. All right. Poetry. That's its form of communication. Poetry. No singing. Just that. Well, I'm going to add in dance as well. I'm just going to pick 10 because I think it's funny. And I think it fits. You might have noticed as we go, it becomes harder and harder for random things to work with the monster that we've got so far. This often happens, if you're wondering. It's really common. Anyway, let's go with Monster Society. Thank you, Jaquel, for that. Let's do with hashtag roll a d20 or roll a d20 plus a d4 for Monster Society. So every time we create our monsters, we still need to have some sort of Monster Society. I don't want to do another solo monster. We've had so many recently over the few weeks we've been doing this. It's like everything winds up being a Monster Society of some kind that doesn't have a Monster Society because it's one of a kind. It's unique. It is the only one. So if we wind up getting 23, I'm probably going to just delete 23. Number 5. Number 5. What do we get for number 5? Cannibal. Oh God, the Monster Society or leaders is chosen through a lottery. Okay, Cabal. Oh, Cabal. It's a lottery. That's we haven't done that one before. That's that's highly entertaining. I'm all for that. I want to see what Jaquel the Scholar rolls up. Kind of curious now as to see what that might turn out to be. Again, if you don't have dice, you can just pick a number between 1 and 24, and I'll just read off what it is and see if it fits. That's all good too. Get what I mean? No problems. I'm getting into winter, so I'm going to probably wind up getting sick. And that'll soon end my live streams and monster creation and adventure creation and pretty much everything else. Here we go, 11. Let's see what 11 is. Hybrid society. Mix 2 or more of the other form of government, community, and society. So this is a little bit tricky, this one, because it means we need to have another roll. Somebody needs to roll something. We need to combine the two. A cabal with something else. A cabal with something else. What else can we roll? Fred Huber, are you going to roll for us? Jaquel, are you going to roll for us? You tell me. Pick a number. I don't mind. It's all good. I'm fine with it. We've still got plenty of time to do the stat block, so do not need to freak out too much, okay? Now, did I make sure I share? Am I sharing this with the right people? Yes, AJ and Wooly. Okay, that's good. And did I put it in the folder? Is it in the folder? It is in the correct folder. Okay, all right. Okay, what else have we got here? We need another roll. I need another selection. So I have to smash or combine a couple of different things. 32. Oh, God. 32. It doesn't go up to 32, does it? It's 24. How can I get 32? 14. Now we're talking. Thank you. A magocracy. Oh my God, it's a magocracy. A monster government ruled by those with magical powers. A hierarchy composed of wizards or mages. So, paste. I think we take the magocracy, we take the cabal, and we mesh them together, and we work on what they do best and what they are good at. So let's get rid of the burrow. Let's get rid of the toxic bite, and we're going to go with the dancing thing, because I think that's hilarious. And then I don't want undead. I like the transformation through silver, infused with magical light from the moon. But it has the miracle maker. So let's base what we're doing with our government on a lottery around miracle making. Yep. It's not a magocracy, it's a miracleocracy. I don't know if that's a real word, probably isn't. Okay. The creatures society is ruled by those with the most powerful miracles after performing a lottery for leadership. I think that's what we're doing. The one that can fart in the best colours is the one that wins. I think I like this more. Creature society is ruled by those with the most powerful miracles after performing a lottery for leadership. I think we go with that one. We got to pick a weakness. A weakness. We got 100 weaknesses. Oh my god! This is the last of the monster lore stuff, by the way. So roll percentile dice for monster weakness. So if you don't have percentile dice, that's fine. Pick a number between 1 and 100. We've got everything from addictions, agoraphobia, allergic reactions, scared of spiders, scared of all sorts of things, basically. Asthma, banishment, it's a blabbermouth, it's bodiless, it's got brittle bones, it cackles with laughter, it's canine phobic, doesn't like doggies, claustrophobic, clumsy, cold-blooded. It goes on and on and on. There's 100 of these things that we put together. Because when you give a creature or a monster something that they can do that's very, very unusual and magical or really special or powerful, it's always good to give them a weakness. Like everything in the world, often what defines us is not our strength, but our weakness. Or what defines a creature or monster or even ourselves is our strength and our weakness. So hence why we always try to have a weakness there as well. So I'm kind of curious as to what Jaquel the Scholar and Fred Huber roll. We got a 92 already. So let's see what 92 gives us. 92. Tickle. The monster is sensitive to being tickled. I really like this one. This one is nice. I like this one. This is pretty good. 77. All right, let's have a look and see what 77 is. 77, and over here, what is 77? The creature trips over its own nose. Oh, it's not going to work. It's probably not going to work. Roll another one. Roll another one, because it doesn't have a nose that's long enough to be a problem. It's not going to fit. This is going to be a bit of a... a non-fitty thing for a creature like this. Unless we change it to something else. It trips. I mean, we can just change it to clumsy. And it trips over stuff. We could do that. Trips over its own feet. There we go. I'll plaster in clumsy, which is sort of an extension of that. Since it doesn't have a long nose. Where's clumsy? Clumsy. There we go. Clumsy. The monster is not agile or coordinated with its movement. Yeah. It is clumsy. Okay, let's solve that problem. Ticklish and clumsy. And we'll get rid of this. And that is the basics around our monster lore done. So once we do monster lore and we have basically a creature, I like people to name the creature. So let's come up with some names for this thing. I will go over it very quickly. I'll show you a picture of it. And yeah, what is the creature's name? What sort of name does it have? Don't say Bob. You like the idea that it's clumsy when it walks? Good. Okay. Cool. We're doing a good job here so far. I feel like we're on the right track. So far, this creature has the head of a praying mantis. It has the body of a flying squirrel or a squirrel. Has limbs or legs of a bird-like dinosaur, which is a yi. Wings of a stalked-eye fly, which is basically insect wings. Its special ability, it's a miracle maker. The creature's gaze can cure disease and remove curses. Dun dun dun. Wow. Its monster traits is it can fly and it hibernates. The creature can hibernate for long periods of time, conserving energy. As you might... No, we can't call it Billy. I'm not putting down Billy. Don't call it Billy, Timmy, or Bob. Okay, you know what I mean. Give it a name. Give it a creature name. What is the creature's name? Okay, monster motivation. It is acquiring knowledge. The monster wants more information about specific topics. What that is, let's say on information on, let's say, diseases and curses. Ooh, there we go. Flavor. The monster wants help or a promise of action from another creature. I don't know what that is. I haven't thought about that very much, but we certainly need to consider it. Maybe somebody will come up with an idea. Transformation. So in this case, its transformation is being determined. We're going to get rid of all this other stuff. The creature was originally a let's say it was originally a it won't be a squirrel, is a praying mantis, or originally a insect that was transformed by ore in its natural habitat, magically infused silver from the light of the moon. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, what a name that is. Jeez. You're trying to put me out. Okay. Let's go back here. And let's do this. I think we should make it a its origin. Let's make it its transform, not an insect, but let's say a praying mantis. Insect, praying mantis. I don't know. I feel like the praying mantis. Praying mantis. Okay, that's the insect. Anyway, let's go back to the names, because we've got a really difficult name. Originally Aarakocra. Oh, come on. Aarakocra? Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh, dear. I should have guessed. It was going to come. Anyway, let's drop your names in. I'm just going to do cut and paste. Nice and easy. You can put up with my face for a second, people. Give me some names for this thing. We need something that's sort of fitting for this. Right now, the first name that I've got is almost impossible to pronounce, and the next name is already copyrighted by somebody else, so I don't think we're going to be able to use that. Or is it copyrighted by them? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a Wizards of the Coast copyright thing. Yeah. What do you call it? The Miracle? Oh, here we go. Miracle Beast. Miracle Beast. Okay. Miracle. Oh, hello, Steve. Now, the Dancing Healer. Could be the Dancing Healer. Yes, Dancing Healer. Not bad. Because it is kind of like a creature that heals, isn't it? A Checklehead. A Checklehead? Oh, okay. What is that? What is that? Checklehead. Chenklehind. Chenklehind. What's Chenklehind? Chenklehind. Right, let's add Chenklehind to our list. I'm going to let you guys continue your endeavours with coming up with names. We've got a... Oh, come on. Didn't like my name. I tried putting it in Miracle and it didn't. How's it going, Steve? How are you? Okay, let's go back to where we were at and let's start doing the monster stat block before I run out of time. Because that will happen, as it often does. And I wind up rushing and then having to go to try to get to work. Keep coming up with if you have any new ideas in terms of what you want to call it, you let me know. I think we've got most of what we needed in terms of stuff for it. I almost feel like I just don't know whether to lean emotion-wise or lean into all-consuming. And I'm of the opinion that we should go with the emotion thing. I think we've established that it's not really a harmful creature, so it probably wouldn't just eat everything in the world. Let's just say that that's what it feeds off. Emotions. It's kind of like a flump. Do you know what I mean? Restorative rhymer. Why not? It's a word that the locals gave the creature. Oh, fair enough. Many times the creature. What is the name? Okay, Legends Unborn. All right, I see. So I think we're going to lean into it. That's its food source. Its reproduction is dance. Its major sense is sensing emotions and night vision. Sky. Poetry and dance is its way of communication. I don't know that I necessarily want the hive mind thing. We'll see. We've got a cabal hybrid society, which is really strange, clumsy and ticklish, and yeah. So we've got a lot going on, and our creature kind of looks like this. This is one of the votes, and I still prefer this, which is goofy as. I totally get it, but I still like it. I think it's fun. It's a groovy medic. It's a groovy medic. Dear groovy medic. Okay, let me just get these down because I'm going to forget them. If I don't put them in now, I will forget them. It's a groovy medic. A dancing, poetry speaking creature. Groovy medic. And the other one, which is also kind of fun. Let's see. Let's grab that. Restorative rhymer. I actually like the restorative rhymer. It's pretty good. Restorative rhymer. I think it's pretty solid. Okay. All right. So in the end, land won out. But of course, we've been here for a while, so it was a bit too late. It needed to go in sooner in terms of the voting. But that's all right. That's fine. It's obviously a fey creature. Okay. It's a fey creature. It's a fairy creature. I'm not going to say fey creature because I feel like fey sort of suggests something else. But we'll say it is a fairy creature. Okay. It is a fey or fairy creature. Not really a monster. Okay, all right. Now that we've got a bunch of names, plenty of names to work through, and lots going on here, we need to do a stat block for this thing. And we will, once I get rid of this, we're going to do a stat block for this creature. And I am going to ask you, what sort of challenge rating do you think it should be? Tripping, flipping, fixer. Oh, good Lord. Hashtag. What should the challenge rating of the creature be? Based on its special abilities, I like rhyming, but why restorative? Oh, because it the creature actually removes curses and diseases. That's why, Steve. Restorative is the rhymer, but restorative rhymer. I actually like restorative rhymer a lot in terms of a name, because it does. It restores other creatures. So it's not like a. It's not it doesn't have any animosity towards other creatures. Do you know what I mean? It's a miracle cure. Miraculous cure. Yeah. Challenge rating 3. Okay. Any other votes? Otherwise, we'll go with challenge rating 3. But I like the miraculous cure either as well. Miraculous cure. I want to put that name in. Miraculous rhymer is also pretty good too. Miraculous cure and miraculous rhymer. Miraculous Miss Tepper. For healer, I don't know. Restorative rhymer, miraculous. I think let's go with miraculous rhymer. I'm gonna pick that name to plop into here for today. Okay, and we need to decide on what size it's going to be. It could be small. It would be fine to be a small creature. That would be all right. Challenge rating, we're still deciding on that. Is that right? He hates what I feed to Google Translate. Oh, I see. Yeah, Google Translate drives me a bit batty, actually. I gotta be honest about it. It really drives me a little bit batty, because I can't pronounce this stuff. The surest way that a name will not survive with me is if I cannot pronounce it, or it's really difficult to pronounce. Not keen. It's a throwback to when players create names for characters and you just cannot pronounce it at all. So miraculous rhymer. Small or tiny, challenge rating 5, challenge rating 3. Let's go down the middle and go challenge rating 4. Or I can roll a dice and do it that way. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to start making some decisions about that, because if I don't, we're going to be in trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a dice. Rather than going down the middle, we're going to stick with it being small/tiny. Challenge small, challenge rating 4. There we go. We'll go challenge rating 4. That's fine. I'm all good with that. We'll go down the middle. So challenge rating 4, if you look in this book, Dungeon Master Guide, okay, it has a table. Now the table is not super accurate, but we can do our best to kind of put most of it together so that it will work. If we scroll down here, challenge rating 4, don't worry about the experience points. If you look at the table on 274 and look for challenge rating 4, it should have a proficiency bonus of +2, and that would be in line with challenge rating 4 for character of level 4. That's in line. They pretty much have the same thing, so the numbers work out all right. Okay. The next thing is our armor class. Now, our armor class can shift. It doesn't have to be 14, could be 13, could be 15. Okay. Catenia. An extrovert. What's this? Catenia is an extraordinary and ladylike, a Latin name signifying healer. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I'll come back to that. I want to just focus on the maths of things right now. So do we want an armor class of 15, 14, or 13? We can move it one either side of the 14. Otherwise, it stays 14. Okay? That's what I would suggest to you. So it either stays 14 or we move it by one point. If we move it too far by any more than that, it will throw out your challenge rating maths. Challenge rating is not super accurate anyway, and no maths behind any monster ever will be. But the reality is that at least the numbers you can keep consistent across your monsters. Yep. That's part of the reason why you might use it, and that's really the only reason why you might use it. Yes, it does, Steve, it does fly. This has wings, it flies. It's a flying creature, yeah. So we need to have a creature that flies, probably has a really slow walking speed, so let's give it a fly speed of 30 feet, and we'll let it hover as well. Okay, so fly. Do we want to give it a really slow walking speed because it's not really designed to do that very well? That helps. Its AC. Flying will affect AC for monsters. Yes, it does. Just going to move that. Okay, yep. So have a decision about whether you want to have an armor class of 13, 14, or 15. You can move it one digit. Anyway, walking speed, I think for something that's small or tiny, it really needs to have a very small walking speed. So let's make it something like 10. 10, not 100, 10. Woohoo. Ooh. My phone is going and doing all sorts of crazy things right now. Just bear with me, people. Okay. All right. Back to normalcy. Cool. By half. I wouldn't worry about... No, it won't. Not really. Look, honestly, moving the challenge rating itself is fairly inaccurate. The only things it's going to help you with is your proficiency bonus, your armor class, your hit points, your attack bonus, your damage per round, and your saving throw DC. That's it. Everything else that you put into a monster, you can't calculate. So there's no point trying. High armor class for flying. Okay, so we're going to go a bit higher than 14. We're going to go to 15. That's fine. I don't mind. You want to do that? Give it a 15. So 15 it is. So next on our task of things, since it's challenge rating 4, we look at, and we've got hit points. How many hit points should it roughly have? Probably between 116 and 130 for challenge rating 4. I know that sounds like a lot, but honestly, that's probably our bracket. Okay. Remember, when you're doing challenge rating, often the monster manual gives you the average rather than the maximum hit points that a monster might have. So the 116 to 130 is the maximum that the monster would have in terms of hit points. If you think about not rolling the dice and you just add up those numbers, that's the best way to see that. Clumsy, easy to hit. Yeah, I've given it a speed of 10 for walking. So, yeah, if you feel like it needs to be slower than that, you can. Let me know. Otherwise, I'll just leave it at 10 for now. We can even make it a 5. We can make it a walking speed of 5 if you wanted to. What about fleas? They have a chart for calculating. What about feats? No, look. If you see anything on Dungeons and Dragons 5e and it has a chart for calculating the effect of a feat on a sliding scale for challenge rating for Dungeons and Dragons 5e, it's a load of bullshit. It doesn't work. The max, either one, anywhere between 116 and 130 is the maximum. So you can take the average of that if you wanted to. Does that make sense? So the average being, if you go 130, the average would be about 65. Yep, about 65 hit points. Otherwise, you go to the lower end. It's a rough dial. It's not a super accurate thing. Again, doing challenge rating is not like that. If anybody wants to come up with the strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma of this creature, feel free to do so. I would suggest to you with an armor class of +5, and it doesn't seem to have any natural armor on it. It probably needs to have a dexterity of 20 to compensate for the fact that its armor class is a 15. But, and it is a fast and whippy creature, yes, but does that counter the fact that it's supposed to be clumsy? Can you be quick and fast and be clumsy? This is another thing to take into consideration. And do we need to look at armor class being calculated off dexterity, or do we need armor class to be, because remember, you can calculate armor class off constitution if you needed to. The monk uses wisdom. So the formula for calculating your armor class, if we're going to have a 15, doesn't necessarily mean that the dexterity needs to be high. I'll just make that clear. Hello, Pale Rider. How are you? Nice to have you. Walking 30. No, we're not going to walk 30. Okay, so moving along. Next one. Should have an attack bonus of 5. So what sort of attack would it have? Really, for the kind of creature that it is and what we're dealing with here, it's probably just got a bite. It's got a tail, but it's like a swishy tail, right? So it's a +5. Is that going to work? So I want you to think very carefully about your characters. Facing a creature of challenge rating 5, if they fight it. Your players usually have a +2 proficiency bonus, okay? And then at level 1, they're probably going to have their best attack modifier is going to be a +3. That's quite common. That means by the time they get to level 4, when they get to boost their ability score, instead of having a +3, they now have a +4 because they don't have a 16, they have an 18, and whatever they make their main attack with. Whether that's a spell that they're casting or that is a weapon, okay? So that means they're getting a +4 plus a +2, that means a 6. So instead of giving it a +5 as the book indicates, I would suggest give it a +6 to attack. Does that make sense? Let's go high with Whiz, Dex, Flying Speed versus Walk. Okay. All right. So we're going high with Whiz. A Wisdom is a high. So let's go over here. And we'll go 20 here. So a calculation is off Wisdom, if you were wondering, for our armor class. In terms of the other numbers, just throw some stuff out there and I'll deal with it. Okay. Whoa. Come on, Fred. You can actually quantify feats. You can actually mathematically value it. No, you can't. You can't. I played Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, and the maths and the challenge rating and behind monsters in 5 and in 3.5 was terrible. I know there's a lot of people who think it's better than 5e, and it probably is. Okay, but I would also like to point out that there were numerous times we faced monsters of a certain challenge rating and we got our asses handed to us by that creature. It never worked well. We're going to disagree on that one. You gotta forget about that. As soon as you start trying to take quantitative, a quantitative thing you can deal with, but a qualitative thing you can't. Most feats very rarely just have quantitative things where it's just a number you're dealing with. They often have elements that are qualitative, that affect combat in a narrative way rather than just a numerical way. It's not like if you're dealing with a feat that says you get a +1 to attack or a +2 to attack or a -1 or something like that, or a +1 or +2 to damage, that's different. But they often don't read like that at all. They often have other things going on. We can table and debate. Yeah, we can table and debate. Let's keep going. Let's move on. 4. So attack. So definitely want to make sure our attack bonus is a 6 rather than a 5. How much damage should we be doing per round? Between 27 and 32 points of damage. Okay, I've highlighted these because I haven't marked them in. I didn't see any point. Do we need to have a tail attack? I don't think it would use its tail to attack. I think if it's going to do anything, it's probably going to bite. It doesn't implant eggs or anything like that. We're not doing that sort of stuff. So just get rid of this. And really, you know, we can just do there and chuck whatever we need to in there to make that work. Pretty much. So you can go, I would always go on the higher end of damage, because a lot of monsters in 5e don't really truck out enough damage to work, and that's a problem. So miracle cure. Ah, dear. So let's go with a single creature. Bright slight. So we're going to do this. Let's take this. We can do a little bit more with this, can't we? I can work through this a bit more with you since we've got a little bit more time, which is nice. If there's anything that sort of stands out to you that you think this thing should have, this is the time to say. Dang, for healing creatures, it sure deals out a lot of damage. Yeah, well, don't piss it off. Dear. So, now, our DC. Let's make sure we get our DCs right. DCs, thinking again back to if we're dealing with a creature that is challenge rating 4, which should be able to be faced against characters of level 4. That's essentially the idea. Monster level and character level should, and to a certain degree, line up. But outside of going beyond level 20, things change a lot. I totally get it. But here's the concept behind it. You think about, okay, this creature, what's its DC going to need to be? If you're dealing with characters who are level 4, they usually have 8 plus their proficiency bonus, which is a +2, same as the monster. That's going to be 10. And their best saving throw that they have will probably be a +4, at least just off their modifier. That's not even if they've got proficiency in it. So go with the 4. So that's why I say 14. That's why the book says 14. You're going 8 plus 2 for proficiency, plus your best modifier that you have on your character, okay, which means it's a 14. You don't usually have to go any further than that. Give it the combat medic feat. No, not a chance. It's a monster. We can make it do whatever we like. No appearing 1d4 plus 4. What? No appearing? We could make it only appear in groups of 8. Dear. I think that's up to the game master, not to me. So we could do it makes we just need to get this name right. Miraculous Rhymer. Makes, now, no, 3 attacks is probably too much. I don't want to give it 1 attack, but we will give it 2 attacks. It doesn't have that many choices, though, unfortunately. We could give it a claw. There would be nothing wrong with giving it a claw attack, because it does have claws. None of this is exciting stuff, by the way, people. If you're thinking, oh, Fred is doing some exciting... No, biting and clawing is not exciting for a monster, for sure. Like, totally get it. Let's go here. Paste. bite, claw. 5 feet. How are we doing for time? We're all right still. Cool. Rehabilitation rhymer. Oh my good lord. Number appearing. What's its alignment? No, I've just put unaligned, but you could have it. With monsters and alignment, I tend to just leave them as unaligned. Do you know what I mean? And leave it to you as you read the lore and you decide where it needs to sit. Does that make sense? Let's give it a higher charisma. Let's give it a 12. It's poetry, right? It gets into poetry, so I feel like it's a 12. It's a 12. It's above average. Heck, poetry's hard. Let's make it a 14. Let's give it a +2. +2. Intelligence. Let's give it fairly average intelligence. I don't know if it necessarily has to be. Does it need to be a 13? 13. Let's make it 11. Make it 11 and give it just a slightly above average. Or even 12. Let's go with. I'm just thinking about this. No, let's make it a 12. That's fine. We'll make it slightly more intelligent. Con. I don't think it's going to have a high con based off what it is, so I think we're going to leave that as a 0 modifier, that one. Its dexterity ain't going to be great. We don't need to make it strong. So how do we build this? I think one of the things that we need to consider, normally with monsters, when I'm creating, hello Osiris, normally with monsters, this is how I treat them. If they're making a bite attack, claw attack, a tail attack, in other words, they're making an unarmed strike or a natural weapon attack, I always consider that to be a finesse weapon. In other words, you could pick strength or dexterity. Okay? We've kind of already said that this creature is kind of clumsy, so dexterity being high is probably not a thing. But can we have a strong, small creature? We could. We could do that. And it would be perfectly fine. We could make it strong. Or maybe it doesn't bite you. Maybe it does something else. Maybe it berates you with poetry. I have no idea. You come up with an idea, people. You come up with an idea. So we're going to go down here and give it a dexterity of, do we want 10 or do we want lower? Let's go with a 9. Let's say it's a little bit on the clumsy side. So it's a 9 minus. And strength, I don't know. How do we want to make that look? Often the numbers in terms of your ability scores don't really matter that much. It's sort of, what do you got here? Give it a bonus spell. Spare the Dying. Spare the Dying is a terrible spell, Osiris. Give it Healing Word. All the players have got Healing Word. They've got a Healing Word. Give the monster at least Healing Word. Right? Why can't we go back to the days of alignment and rolling for morale? I think rolling for morale is very, very sensible, even in a modern game. I roll for morale all the time, dude. Do it. But the only reason I'm going with alignment, we've kind of established that it's not evil. Let's just go with good. I'm not going to go good neutral or good chaotic good, I just got to say good. It's good. Healing Word is good. Let's give it Healing Word as a feature that it can use. That would be quite entertaining. And instead of a bite, let's make it a rhyme. What if it rhymes? I think that would be fun to put in rhyme. And we can use our attack from that. That's the sort of thing it does. Confuses you with rhyme. Dear. Now we're getting somewhere. Let me go back to this. Healing Word. Hello Rango, how are you? How's it going? Thanks. Good aligned. All right, you're happy now. Roll to disbelieve an illusion. It's not an illusion. What to disbelieve is natural 20. Okay, disbelieve. I don't know what violent verse. Rango. Violent verse. This is very, for those of you who don't know, this is very 4E. Rhyme does psychic damage. I think rhyme. Rhyme. And let's make it a ranged attack. Ranged attack. Ranged attack. Our wisdom is there. And so we want it being a... So let's just push this down to an 18. That'll make it a 4. And... what with it? One with its rhyme. And one with its clause. And one with its clause. Something like that. What if you're deaf? Plug your ears. Of course, well, that's the way to go. Plug your ears. Absolutely. All right, so let's have a look at how this sort of works out. We're all right in terms of our attack bonus. Range... So it needs to be, we need to give it a range. I think we're going to give it, what's the best way of doing this? I'm just trying to think now. We're heading off on a different tangent. We're doing something outside of the norm, aren't we? Damage versus stun. I don't know about stun. And stun versus, and save versus stun. I like the idea of just going with an attack roll, but okay, so let's see. If we're going to do that, and we're going to make it a saving throw, and it's a base attack, how's this going to work? I'm going to have too much, this is going to take me too long to figure it all out. Miracle Cure, Bright Lights, no. So... a single creature in line of sight okay, must make a DC now. Wisdom saving throw, yes. On fail save the creature. Now this is weird. The creature is cured of all diseases. And was it curses? Curses. I think it was diseases and curses. Curses. I think that's right. This is working very strange, I know, people. Here we go. Let's just do this. On a successful save, a creature retains successful save, the creature gains no effect. Because it isn't going to know that it's being cured. A deck of insults is arriving soon. Okay. All right. A deck of insults, of course. All right, so let's put that in there. I'm going to put in a note for healing word as well. Healing word, because I would like to come back to that, but I just don't have the time to do it, so we're going to leave that for now. And yeah. Okay. But we got most of the maths done. This is going to be a much more complicated monster to create because it's kind of the reverse. It's not a fighting monster. It's a completely different sort of way of thinking of it. So you've got to yeah, it's going to take a lot longer. It's going to take a lot longer. That's all I'm going to say. If this was just kill you, then it would be fine. But it's not going to be that way. So it's going to be harder to figure out. So that's me. I am out of time. We will be back next week, same day, same time, same bat channel to do more of this. Okay, more monster creation. Maybe we'll make something that's scary and terrifying. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, I will come back to this creature when I get a chance. Probably not for another couple of months, actually, as it happens. And we'll see if the monster lore adjusts and changes over time, which often does happen, I've discovered. It's not always sort of sold on the way of it's laid out, and so I go and do some changes and make some alterations, and sometimes that helps, and sometimes that doesn't help. So we'll see. But we did a pretty good job. I think we got the monster lore down pretty well. It's just going to be the stat block. Okay? Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? So for those of you who don't know what's happening tomorrow, I'm back tomorrow to do a live stream as part of the Game Master Roundtable on Wally DM's channel. That'll be about 12 p.m. or 12 noon in New Zealand, which I think is 7 p.m. in sort of Chicago and 8 p.m. in Miami, and Los Angeles it would be 5 p.m., something like that. So we're going to be doing Dagger Heart and going over character creation and how the characters work. It's very complicated, so we decided that we'd actually go through and show you how our characters are supposed to work, since we've got to figure out that as well, and nobody has time as a YouTuber to do that normally. So that's what's happening tomorrow, Dagger Heart. But my live stream before that, I'm going to remaster and fix a background, or show you how to fix backgrounds for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It has been requested a couple of times. I don't believe it will be very popular, because usually backgrounds are viewed by a lot of people who are power gamers and much more into combat, is garbage. I don't believe that. My group does not feel that way. And so I want to show you how you could fix them without just chucking a combat feat or a feat onto a background that they would get at level 1. Because the idea from a background is not to turn the character into a powerful thing. It is to give you the background of the character. What did they do before they became an adventurer? That's essentially what we're talking about. So that's what I plan to do. I'm playing with dice. I don't know why I'm playing with dice. Sorry, people. So remastering the backgrounds. I will start with 1. And because I don't have a lot of time, we will just work our way through them, and you guys will let me know which ones you want to sort of me to focus on first. And we also have to make a background for a farmer, because has anybody noticed there's no background that says you were a farmer? Is that because nobody wants it, or nobody thought of it? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening and taking part tonight. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking part in the poll. That's very helpful. It is unfortunate that the votes came in a little bit too late to do the land monster. We wound up doing a sky monster instead, one that flies. Huge thank you to Esper the Bard for all of his assistance, and thank you to my patrons who support me on Patreon. These monsters will go up onto Patreon in the future, but they will be a first draft, and it will probably not be until I stop working full time. Okay, just to make that clear. So that's where my head is at with that. So thank you to everybody who's been watching and listening, but particularly in chat. So Osiris, Steve C, Fred Huber, of course. Without Fred Huber, wouldn't get very far. Rango, thank you for your assistance and your time and your feedback. I said Osiris, didn't I? Yes, I did. Thank God for that. God, I don't want to try and miss anybody. Pale Rider, of course, who showed up. And also Jaquel the Scholar. It was nice to have you in the chat, rolling some dice, giving some feedback. Do appreciate it. Please, people. And Agile Monk. please take part. Please be part of the process. It's not that hard. All we're doing was rolling on tables and charts. There's nothing you can do that would be wrong. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to feel self-conscious about your ideas, because all you're doing is giving me a number, and then we just see if that would fit. It's not like you have to be creative and think up stuff. It's all good. It's fine. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Osiris, it's probably going to happen.